Hello and welcome to Flashback, the games you loved, the stories you forgot. And this week is our Christmas special. And it's me, RGT. And as always, I am joined by my special little Santa's elf. It's Georgie boy. How you doing, George?
Hello. Hello. It's I won't do that the whole episode. It's Christmas time.
Yes.
Gather round. If we didn't celebrate it on the main show till we forgot 5 minutes from the end that it was Christmas, we're gonna do it now.
Yes.
This is where you come. Christmas really all about nostalgia, RGT, isn't it? Let's face facts. No one ever looks back on Christmas is coming. They all look back on Christmas is gone from their childhood. Will it
Definitely.
never be as good as it was in 1988? It's a magic gone. Well, guess what?
Exactly.
We've bottled not only our own, but your nostalgia, and we're selling off your memories cheap. Come, come. Yeah, so
Wow. Yeah, well, like George was saying, this is our 12 games of Christmas. So we've got six gaming memories each from Christmas. We've got a few little splattered in of our Discord members over on the Unofficial Controller podcast Discord, of their Christmas memories. And yeah, we thought this would be a nice little nostalgia trip back to some of those gaming highlights we had back in the day. And some of them are even more modern memories as well, especially from myself as well. But
when
yeah,
when
so
when gaming was real.
yes, exactly. Yeah, this is from them sort of memories where, especially when you're younger and there was something you always wanted. You'd circled it in your Littlewoods catalogue or the Argos, and you were thinking, "Am I going to get that? Am I going to get that?" You're looking at the different presents under the tree, thinking, "Oh, that could be that Sega, that could be that Nintendo." And yeah, did you get them or not? This is the thing. And when you did
More often
open it,
than not, no.
no, but when you
Um,
did,
it came home hard.
yes. And when you did, it was absolutely wonderful experience. I mean, one of these as well, one of my best memories. I wasn't even expecting it. I didn't even know that my parents had got that for me. So that was an even bigger surprise because it wasn't something that I'd actually asked for. So yeah, brilliant. But before we do that, how you been, George?
Me, yeah, doing well. Lurching between recording one show and then the next show.
Yeah.
I feel a bit like a punch drunk boxer.
Ooh,
Uh, I don't
yeah.
know enough about the modern game to be able to really quote anything. So that's that. Probably Mike Tyson, Chris Eubank, Frank Bruno.
Bouncing from one show to another.
Yeah, who am I?
Exactly. I'm feeling like that myself at the moment.
No, I'm doing well, mate. I'm quite excited to record this. Christmas doesn't begin till someone at the UCP talks fondly about childhood memory with some gaming device. So I guess once this is over, I can cover myself in cranberry sauce.
The usual tradition in the George household.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
The
and
the, uh,
then
the basting of cranberry, as we
yeah,
call it.
and then I take a little bit of a dip off in a self-indulgent double cream pouring.
Mm.
Uh, just kind of slosh it into my armpits a little bit.
Wow. Yes.
Sort of
Christmas is different up your way.
gather up a little pool of it in my hand, bury my head in that pool of cream, and just sort of into it.
Nice. A little
Yeah.
bit different in our house, but yeah, still nice to see your traditions.
Well, celebrate Christmas or don't celebrate Christmas, RGT. You keep sort of fanning around. Get in the cranberry, get it done right. Stop mucking about.
Right, I'll bear that in mind. I've made notes, so industrial size vat of cranberry is on the way to the RGT household.
Don't forget to wear the Christmas themed life preserver. I've got
Yeah.
a ring this year with Rudolph's head to the front with a little hastily assembled Chinese bit of architecture. Probably electrocute me, to be fair. Little cell battery for its nose to flash red. Uh, and then for some
Wow.
reason, probably because they had spare wire. And let's face it, when you're assembling one of these things in a Chinese factory and you don't really know what a reindeer is, it makes sense to make its tail light up in the same fashion. Because then if you get it assembled the wrong way around,
Mm.
it's still going to flash.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, that's. I'll look forward to the pictures on Discord. Um, right. Shall we crack on then with our first memory? I'm going to let you go first. Let's go deep into your first memory.
Uh,
Christmas nostalgia
okay,
trip.
okay. Now, I was going to do these chronologically, and then I wrote them down as they fell out my brain, and then I lost that list, so I've done this. So my first memory is let's go with this.
Hmm.
Okay. I can't remember exactly the year, but I'd been absolutely gunning, desperate for a Super Nintendo or any form of
Mm.
console. You're talking to the kid that grew up with Commodore VIC-20, which was like a predecessor to the 64. I got the VIC-20 as the C64 was dying, so that was great. Um, Maybe not when it was dying, but certainly when it was more the prevalent machine and the VIC-20 was dead. Um, and then I got an Atari ST, which is a great machine. I have lots of memories of that, really good memories. But everybody else was playing on these consoles. Everybody had. And it was the time of the arcade as well, Super Nintendo, all that sort of Street Fighter 2, all that sort of stuff going on. I felt like I didn't have a slice of that, even though I had Street Fighter 2 on the Atari ST. One thing that could be said for that is it felt like there was a disc per character, and there was a disc per stage, and there was a disc per song. So that was a lot of disc swapping just to play your game. The loading alone was enough to reduce a small boy with zero patience to tears. So unwrapping a Super Nintendo Mario All-Stars pack on Christmas Day was enough to blow my mind. Suddenly, I was not on the fringes of the cool kids. I was right in the middle. In
Mm.
fact, I was maybe the coolest kid. Unwrapping all this, obviously, I wasn't a stranger to reading gaming magazines, especially for machines I didn't have in the newsagents while waiting for the bus. And yeah, I'd already seen the previews and the reviews of Mario All-Stars. I was pumped. I was hyped. I wanted a slice of this NES journey. I wanted a piece of what had made all the Mario Brothers cartoons that I watched on Channel 4 feel special, like I got the joke all of a sudden. I wanted to feel like I was cruising around Hyrule or being involved. I wanted to be running around my bedroom, jumping off like Captain N. And the Super Nintendo came at just the right time. All of a sudden, all this talk of these games that I saw on shows like Bad Influence and Games Master, I wasn't hanging on to see them talk about the Amiga and then hope that there was some sort of cross reference to the Atari ST. I wasn't watching a whole episode of Bad Influence, literally nearly in tears, hoping the word Atari ST would get mentioned. It did every now and then passing, but a lot was talked about the Super Nintendo, Super
Mm.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, Mega Drive, Mega Drive. And I've spoken before, I think the Mega Drive would have been like, although my parents for once actually probably listen to the person in the shop saying, "This is the most powerful machine. This is the one you want to get." If I'd have unboxed a Sega Mega Drive 2 and Mega CD on that Christmas morning, I'd have been equally as horned up. But
Mm.
the gaming gods took my fate on a different journey,
Mm.
one where I ended up praying at the Mario altar during my formative years. Um, Not much more I can say about that. I mean, the that iconic yellow starred box art of the Mario All Stars console tie-in was freaking iconic.
Mm.
I remember reading the manual and looking at all the sort of hand-drawn sort of ninty art in there of all the different characters during their animations and different bits and
Mm.
bobs, and I would tear through that manual. The same, I used to look at the Super Nintendo and see the little PAL logo where it looked like Mario's eyes, the rainbow eyes with the two eyebrows above it, and be like, "Oh, it's so cool that they've got this history with this character that they've hidden his face in the logo." And the eject button was felt awesome. That whole Super Nintendo. All of a sudden, I had a controller with six buttons on it straight
Yeah.
out the gates. The primary school coloring didn't really bother me because although we look at a SNES pad now and it maybe looks a little bit archaic, maybe to a modern gamer. When the Super Nintendo pad was new and concurrent to its time, that thing felt like you were holding, I don't know, keypad to Buck Rogers' B-Day. It
Oh
was
yeah, I
incredible.
mean, it added the shoulder buttons on. I mean, that's the first time I'd ever had shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
You know, I remember didn't know they were there, and I remember my fingers leaning on them on my friend's Super Nintendo, thinking, what's these?" He's like, "Oh, they're shoulder buttons." I'm like, "What's a shoulder button? Never heard of them." I mean, Super Nintendo was. I mean, we've spoke about this before because I'm currently playing, Illusions of Time, but the games and adventures, even now, still stand the test of time. What they had just on cartridges. You know what I mean? It was a hell of a system that was superbly backed with so many games. And my friend had Super Nintendo. I had Sega Mega Drive, but I never remember it being. Yes, in the playground with people, you'd have a bit of rivalry with Nintendo and Sega, but I never remember it being between me and him. I had the Mega Drive, he had the Super Nintendo, and we'd take in turns going around each other's houses. So we'd always play Street Fighter at his because he had the 6 button pad, so it was easy to do the moves. Where I only had the 3 button pad on my Mega Drive, so it was always harder to play it on there. But then he would like to come around and play Streets of Rage, for instance, because you tended to have those beat 'em ups, and the Mega Drive being that bit more edgy, you had the blood and you had the bits and pieces. So we tended to play like Streets of Rage or Sonic at mine, and we'd play FIFA or Street Fighter 2 at his, and because of the pad, and
The
yeah, it was
Mega
brilliant.
Drive certainly felt like the 18 plus console.
Mm,
The
yeah.
games were on the Super Nintendo. I think the only one that ever really had any cutbacks was Mega Drive 1 with the green blood,
Mm,
Mortal Kombat 1 with the green blood.
yeah.
And that was enough
Mm,
to establish the Mega Drive as the bigger boys machine, the place to go play your video nasties that had RoboCop and
yeah.
it had
Yeah.
this and it had that. And it didn't necessarily, but it was enough of a gesture to kind of flip the narrative.
Mm,
The little black sleep number was the adults machine and the Super Nintendo. And this is kind of how I remember it was a bit more sort of teen kiddie, and it was a bit like, I'm a bit back to Captain N and the Treasure Planet now. Anyway, I still knuckled down and enjoyed it, and I bought so many games with my hard-earned chicken money for
yeah.
that.
And
Unbelievable.
like you were saying about the pad as well, though, I'm currently using an original pad, still, the one from my Super Nintendo. It's still a very good controller. It
Yeah,
plays very well. The D-pad is superb. The buttons are good. I mean, it does exactly what they
it
wanted.
feels
But
super light now.
yeah, it does. Definitely does feel like
And
compared
in a
to.
way, it feels maybe even lighter than the Mega Drive pad, and I don't know why that's possible.
Yeah, it's strange. I know it's slightly smaller. Mega Drive pad is a big chunky boomerang, isn't it? But it's
It
but
is, yeah.
but yeah, I know what you mean. And especially I think it's we've been a bit spoilt with later controllers, especially with battery packs and, like the dual sensors of modern controllers that's got all the gubbins going in as much as a smart car has. You know what I mean? It's
Mm.
they're heavy bits of kit, but yeah, still a very good pad. And also I think out of all my retro consoles, I think my Super Nintendo pads, I've never had to do anything with them. I've never had to clean them. I've never had to take them to bits. I've never had to do, they still work completely fine. Whereas a few of my Mega Drive ones have broke and I've had to repair and clean and that. So it's,
Mega Drive's slightly older, and I just believe, like the Mega Drive, it feels like from a second-hand user's point of view, it feels like the Mega Drive had a lot harder life.
mm,
Every
that's a
Mega
good
Drive I
point. Yeah.
picked up has been kicked and thoroughly used.
Yeah.
The Super Nintendos I've acquired since, much like my one, have been kind of picked up with gloves and put down.
Mm,
Yeah, don't get me wrong. You see some beat up SNESes, you do. And you see a lot of yellowed SNESes, you do. But generally, they've been actually physically well looked after.
yeah. You don't have to repair them very often, not from
No.
what I've seen. I mean, my Mega Drive I've had recapped and my Mega CD recapped and Mega Drive 2 and Mega CD 2 recap. I've never had to do it to my Super Nintendo. Maybe something I should actually think about doing because it's getting an old system now. But yeah,
Yeah, I
brilliant.
mean, that. And I've looked at this recently. You don't quite realize how much a difference new caps make in an old console until it's done.
Oh, it does. Yeah, I
Yeah.
I know everyone used to tat the Vicky out of me on Discord saying, "Oh, you always recap and stuff." But me, my Mega CD one, when I had that recapped, didn't think it even needed doing, but I'd done it anyway. Guy said one of the caps had leaked. It was very close to then contaminating the board. He replaced them all. The colours then popped on the screen. You didn't realise how much difference that made to that console. You suddenly thought, This is how I saw it back in the day, not how I was seeing it now. But yeah, brilliant. Yeah, great memory. Super Nintendo. Yeah, you must have felt an absolute boss when you unwrapped that at
I
Christmas.
felt like I just embraced it that day, I'll be honest with you, and just went full in on it.
And the thing
Uh,
is, as well, this is the time before texting your friends. We didn't have phones then, so you want to contact your friends and say, "I got a Super Nintendo," but you can't till you see them next at school or in the holidays.
I
Because
just I just bottled it up and just sort of aura farmed it myself. I just lived on it. You know, I'd look at
yeah,
the box if I wasn't playing it. I would handle the cartridge. I'd stare at the controller. I think to be honest with you, that Christmas, I don't remember that as much as I thought I would do because I think I was just that wrapped up in the moment that I didn't actually press record in my brain.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just that's one of them as well where you're so excited that flies by, doesn't it, the day, and
Mm.
you're in the moment there and then, and
Yeah.
brilliant memory. Well, for me, I said this story probably two or three times on our other show, unofficial control podcast. I actually had to get a few details. So I actually rung up Mummy RGT last night just to try and get some details on this.
Mm.
So we sort of roughly worked out that this was 1989 Christmas. 11-year-old RGT. And this is the one I was mentioned before that I hadn't asked for this. They knew I'd played one before. But I think from talking to my parents last night, because of my favourite arcade game at the time, every time we went to Great Yarmouth, which we did quite regularly because it's not too far from us, um, this was the game I always made a beeline for, and they saw that this had it packed in. And this was why they
Mm.
bought me the system. So my parents bought me the ZX Spectrum 128K. This was obviously in the Amstrad era, so you had the Amstrad on the screen rather than Spectrum. So this is when old Alan Sugar had bought the rights. Um, but that was with the Action Light Gun pack. Um, and with this, you had let me think. One, two, three, four, five. You had six games packed in on one cassette, a white cassette. You had three on one side, three on the other. But the reason my parents bought it to me because on the back, when you looked at the games, I think they might have bought it from Dixon, somewhere like that. Operation Wolf. That was my favourite arcade game. This is the one I said before. The guy used to always get me a milk crate out, and I'd stand there and hold the Uzi on the screen where you get the recoil on it, and that used to rattle the glasses off my head. And my dad used to play on the other gun because I always made a beeline for that. And this had a port of Operation Wolf in. Yes, it's a Spectrum port, but and anyway, in that box there was Solar Invasion, which I played to death, which was basically a you had sort of a board around the screen, but you had these big sprites coming down. And even if you look at it now, graphically, it was very these games, although they're packing, they were done well. They were individual colours and bits. And as these alien things would scroll down from top to bottom, you'd shoot them with your light gun and try and get me and my dad would take in turns on the highest score. Um, then obviously you had Operation Wolf. There was a game called Rookie, and I think I played it a couple of times. I didn't really know what I was doing because I was a bit young, and I didn't really go back to that. But then there was Robot Attack, which was like you had different levels. We had a different robot on the left-hand side, and as the enemies come down, you'd shoot them and get the pieces to build the robot up as you went. That was good fun. But the one that we had all Christmas evening on and Boxing Day was Bullseye. You had Bullseye built in. And I even said to Mum, I had a flashback of a memory last night. We had an old Ferguson TV set, which we had the Spectrum on in the living room. And I remember I went out, I don't know if I went to get a drink or whatever I went to do. When I come back in, I caught my dad putting the light gun against the TV screen so he could get the highest scores
Oh
all the time.
wow.
No, so I had to explain to him, no, you're just cheating. You need to come away from the screen and aim the gun. But I always remember the gun being, I mean, this is probably rose tinted spectacles here, but I always remember it being fairly accurate, being good fun. Didn't remember any
Yeah,
problems with that.
I think that sort of light gun technology, although it's like really rudimentary, really, and then didn't change all the way up until we had to do something different because the TV's changed.
Yeah.
They were always relatively accurate.
Yeah, I mean, playing Operation Wolf at home on my TV was unbelievable. I saw my friend
Let
outside.
me just insert there. You played that, albeit on the ZX Spectrum with a light gun and had an absolute time.
Yeah.
I played that on the Atari ST with a mouse.
Wow. Wow, with a mouse.
I mean, you're dead-eye dick with the mouse. There's no
Yeah,
doubt about it. It's exactly where you want it to be. But
yeah.
yeah, I bought that game off the back of loving it in the arcade. But the crossover experience of the mouse was pretty arse,
I
to be
must I
honest.
must try and find a photo because of playing Operation Wolf. And like I say, I've said this story before. I saw my mate out in the street. I think he'd got a new rally burner. And he was riding up and down. Oh, what did you get? You know, what Father Christmas bring? I was like, oh, I got a Spectrum 128K. It's got Operation Wolf on. He's like, what? You got Operation Wolf on your TV? Well, before I know it, there's six kids in the living room because I had this. Yeah, I've got a picture of us all sitting around the TV, one with a light gun, and it was just unbelievable. And because I wasn't expecting it, I had a family friend's son who had a 48K, which I used to be bemused by. It was amazing. I remember playing Transformers on it. And I think that because it was the next incarnation of Spectrum, my parents had seen that. They'd seen this had the Operation Wolf on and put two and two together and they bought it for me. I hadn't even asked for this. So unboxing this on Christmas, this huge box for an 11-year-old,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh no, wait. Because we couldn't even load the tapes, we didn't know what to do. We had an American air base near us, and my neighbours next door were Americans, and the lady worked in IT on the base, so she came round on Christmas Day to show me how to do J load and put the tape in to load the
Oh
tapes up
my
because I didn't have
God.
a yeah because I didn't have a clue. I'd never used one before. I didn't have a clue to do it. And
I'll
once
be
she showed
honest.
me how to do that, that was it. I was away.
Thing
Um,
is, that's the sort of thing that you'd be shown. You'd take it up, and your parents would be like, they'd nudge each other, be like, "Yeah, told you, he's at the cutting edge of this computer revolution now,
yeah,
as son.
mm,
He's like that guy out of War Games." And
yeah,
it wouldn't have maybe been said, but it would have been implied with like nods and nudges, and it'd be like, "Yeah, I
yeah,
told you it's a good idea to get this. Look
yeah.
at how it's specky now. It's like Doogie Howser."
Yeah, he even knows how to do capitals. Look, oh, he's done a capital letter on the screen. Yeah, and then because that then
Let me
spied.
ask you this question:
Yeah.
Did this did this machine come with any traditional games, or did it just rock up as a light gun simulator for the whole of the Christmas period?
Light gun simulator, but I got some money. Yeah, I got some money for Christmas. So then 2 or 3 days after Christmas, we went to see the sales, and I think I
Hmm.
went in Woolworths. And I bought a Space Harrier simulator, which was so complicated I just kept crashing into the floor. And then I bought, which was arguably one of my
Oh, so a
favorite.
Harrier flight simulator.
Yeah, 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 Harrier, yeah, flight
Wow.
simulator, yeah. And then I also bought Double Dragon, which has actually turned out to be the first game I ever completed. And I still have it's clear memories of completing that game, getting to that final boss when he had a gun and dodges but had beaten him. And I remember just running downstairs. I'd ripped me cheater joystick out of the port because it's still in my hand. Mum, I completed a game, and they just didn't have a clue what I was talking about. I've completed Double Dragon, and I still remember this. That you go back and look at Double Dragon on the Spectrum, you think, how the hell I even got through it? The color clash, you don't even know where your character is. Looks terrible, but I did. I got through the 5, 6 levels and completed the
No,
game. And
I've looked at games that I thought were graphical powerhouses in the day,
oh,
uh, and now, as you say, they're barely decipherable,
yeah.
which is shocking. But yeah,
I just
that's it.
remember I even told my friends I'd completed Double Dragon. They were like, "Yeah, whatever, chinny reckon," and I was like, "No."
Oh wow,
I was like, "No, seriously." You had no proof in them days, did you? But yeah, that's my first memory. ZX
that's a great
Spectrum
one. That's
one
an
two eight K.
absolute banger. Well,
Yeah.
I am not one to. I'm like a memory vampire, if I'm honest with you. And for this show, we asked people to message in with their Christmas memories. And I'm going to feast on these memories of other people
Mm.
because, I get some sort of enjoyment out of it. First person I'm going to suck on, off, or whatever it is Digital Monkery. He says, not one that I had, but the former Mrs. Digital Monkery. It was the first Christmas together. So 2003, she got a black GameCube for Christmas. She got it with Double Dash and Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. We spent most of Christmas Day playing Lord of the Rings together, and much of our early relationship was spent playing Double Dash, which we completed in its entirety in co-op, and Super Monkey Ball, especially Monkey Target. Very good and happy times. Well, this is a great memory, mainly because it's Lord of the Rings on Christmas Day. I don't think there's a better feeling than Lord of the Rings at
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
Getting that on a GameCube, I mean,
And
look,
also, this nudged a little bit of nostalgia for me, not for the GameCube, not for Lord of the Rings, not for anything like that. This is something I very rarely get now. I get it with the odd game, but it's that feeling of that new console that you're excited for, and you get a couple of games with it, and you sit and you just have your day playing those games because you're so excited
let,
for that new console, and the buzz is fresh with it. And I don't know if I get that anymore. I get it with games
let me
sometimes,
ask you
but
this, RGT. Let me ask you this.
yeah,
What value would you attach to this experience if I said to you, listen, RGT, I know you're a big gamer, I know you're into all that, I know you like it mainly for the nostalgia for a time when you felt loved, cared, and protected. But regardless of that, you now, as an adult, you've got a penchant for collecting this stuff, curating this stuff, even playing the new stuff. I've captured this little tablet that you can take that gives you the feeling and the experience of getting a new console in a range of your choice, but we'd
hmm
suggest pre-secondary school. And it's the feeling of unwrapping it, popping the seal, opening it up, the smell of the baggies, the little twisties, it all comes pouring out, the leaflet that you don't understand that says something about warranty, but you don't really know what that is, but you still protect it like it's a holy relic. All comes tumbling out, that smell, that feeling, that excitement as you cast your eyes across what's technically the cutting edge of technology, and especially to a kid, this is like, what?
oh that,
How
that
much is this tablet worth to you?
oh my God, priceless, absolutely priceless. That would be, I can still. You've actually just made me flash two memories there that I'd put out of my mind. I don't know why these come in. These are a bit random. It's to do with the Spectrum. The first one is I remember when I went to bed on Christmas evening, I had to have the light gun pack box next to my bed. So as I went to sleep, I just kept touching the box, thinking, "Yes, I'm going to be playing Operation Wolf in the morning." And and the other one was I had a little racer bike called a Rally Clipper, and I remember riding up and down the street playing with my mates with the Spectrum phaser wedged in the front of me trousers with the cord wrapped round, tied up around the handle because I thought I was in the A team.
Beautiful. They're not Christmas memories,
Unbelievable.
but I'll
You just
take
made
them.
me twing them two little memories there. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, from DM, that's that, when the console, getting a console at Christmas and a couple of packing games that's when it was a big deal, and that's what you done at Christmas. Absolutely brilliant.
I noticed that I came early as well, didn't I?
Mm.
Didn't I? List of memory was too soon. You
That's
wrote
all
this
right.
beautiful script. You even decided my memories to remember, and I, I,
That's all
I,
right.
I
That's
didn't
fine.
know. It's not
The
acceptable.
freestyler. I'll go on to the next list of memory. Roast
No,
Space Monkey.
wait. Should we do
What?
that now, or should we? We could actually now pepper them all the way through if we did one at a time.
We can do, yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. So if we do you want to go on to our second memory then? Do you want to do yours, or would you like me to
Yeah.
start this time? Or
Yeah. You start this time. Let's mix it up for the listeners.
yeah, so this one, again, I had to speak to Mummy RGT. I think this was
How's
round
she
of
doing, by the way?
very well. Yes, very well indeed. Yeah, very good.
Mm.
This brought back some memories for her as well, so it's quite funny. We were giggling on the phone, remembering little Puddin' Bass and RGT with
That's
his
my
NHS
mummy as well,
glasses.
though, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he's yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But we'll leave that there. Yeah, so we
Mm.
think this is about 1990. We think Christmas 1990, maybe 91. I think it might have been 91. But anyway, we all know the infamous story of this with me, but this was my Master System 2 that I got. Um,
Oh dear.
yeah, this is the infamous Alex Kidd and my unique ability to be able to unbox a console, play said console, replace console back into box to where parents didn't know, to where actually when I unwrapped it at Christmas, I'd already completed Alex Kidd in Miracle World. But
Before you say any more,
mm,
you don't have to map what you did across too many sort of interactions in human life before one of them is an absolute crime
yes,
that would see you banged up for quite a while.
all right, it's a bit harsh, but that's but yeah, that is a big regret of finding that. And yeah, I was just at the age where they would pop out, so I'd have, half an hour on my own, so I'd quickly slip it out, portable TV plugged in, playing Alex Kidd, and then cars pulled up, put the little twisties back bag, system two
How
back.
close were you to getting caught?
Oh, once I had to put it under the desk. It was against my feet while I sat. Yeah, my Mummy RGT would have gone ballistic. Unbeknown to this day, she still doesn't know. Sorry, Mum, if you're listening. She doesn't know. Like, I had that Mars system against my legs. And she come, you coming down now? Look, I've got your snack. And I said, yeah, I'll be down in a minute.
Let me tell you one thing. The way that you would have been red-faced, the way that you would have been looking like you were doing something you shouldn't have been doing, the way that you looked sort of flustered as she walked in the door. Now, to you, you're sat with your feet atop what feels like, you know, the Italian job. You've got your feet on a few hundred bullion, right? And
Yeah.
there's a Italian guard right at the door. But let me suggest to you that the inverse image to Mumsy RGT was one of like, oh crikey, he's growing up quick.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I didn't want to leave the room and I was just wedged in my desk. And she's like, come on, you coming down? Yeah, I'll be down in a minute, Mum. Which,
Oh my God!
to
Goes
be
down, your dad's like, is he not coming down for tea? Oh, little soldier's at attention at the minute, Daddy RGT. Just give him a little minute to put them at ease. And he's playing with, what's he doing playing with them? We're getting him a computer game for Christmas. They're playing with, no, no, Daddy, no. He's
Oh,
come of age. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
time for the chat.
That's my copy of Razzle gone, isn't it?
But yeah, so that was very close to being caught, and I look back now and I do regret it because my dad worked a lot of hours at the time, and this is something I'd asked for, so he'd worked bloody hard to save up and get this, and yeah, I feel a bit guilty that I'd ruined it, but you know, I method acted on Christmas Day and was absolutely blown away. But yeah,
That'll be
yeah,
another one of those technological moments where they thought they had some sort of whiz kid in their midst because I remember Christmas Stew when he came round and he learned how to hack the mainframe. Oh, I do, Daddy. Yes, I remember that. Look at him now.
yeah,
He's just he's just waltzing through this,
yeah.
isn't
That's
he?
not he's played it before. But I remember getting games as well. I remember
Told you
getting.
we should have got the Neo Geo. We can't afford the Neo Geo. Well, this is nothing to him.
Well, I also remember getting the Master System phaser, and I got Operation Wolf on there as well. And like
Oh my God. Difference
jumping,
between
oh, just night and day. The graphics going from the color clash single monochrome like yellow or green screen with just black outlines to a 8-bit color palette. I was just, this is the arcade in my bedroom on a
Of
14
course it
inch
was.
14-inch Orion color TV. Sitting there with the light gun at my desk, it was just, yeah, that was brilliant. I also remember having Aztec Adventure, which is like a Zelda rip-off clone.
Did you say it was the two or the one?
Two, I had the two.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, I went into the two. I didn't have a one. Um, the one, my friend had a
The
Master
one
System one.
looks so good compared
It
to the two,
doesn't,
though.
and
I've
also
got
having
both, but the
those,
one is the banger.
yeah, and it had that. It was. Do you know what it reminded me of? It was some sort of. It looked like some tech you'd see in Red Dwarf, the
Yeah,
Master System one, and it had that card slot. So I've got a couple
mate,
of the
the
card
card
games.
slot, even if you never used it, it just looked like it was some sort of scanner for a spaceship, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And you just, and you don't. I had a friend who, when he first got the Master System, he said, "Oh, I got a Sega Master System," because we all thought the Master System was the better console because the other one was a Mega Drive. We thought the Master System meant that that was the best
Oh,
one.
oh, oh.
Yeah. It took me a little while to discover that. Hence, I got a Mega Drive later down the line. But my friend kept.
Do you think that if social media existed in that time, do you think there'd have been a video of little RGT speaking down, mansplaining almost to his kids playing to this kid in the car in the playground who's like, no, I've got Mega Drive. No, it's better, it's 16-bit, and you're like, no, what you don't understand, Reggie, is
Reggie.
yeah. What you don't understand, Reggie, is it's a master system.
Yeah.
Master system. That's why
It's
it's
top of the tree. It's
and
got
he's like,
card
oh,
and cartridge. You can put them
oh,
both.
and he hasn't got. He's like, he's just getting boom like cards reader. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
he doesn't know where to be. He
Yeah.
knows that his console is better by a long chalk bit in the playground. He just can't get a leg in.
Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty much what it was like. That was
Oh
brilliant.
my goodness.
And then that was just, I was telling everyone this in the classroom. And then that was just one of my mates who was always, he had their parents that were always that one step ahead. Do you know what I mean? They'd import stuff, they'd buy him stuff early. And he had a Mega Drive, but I didn't call it Mega Drive because I'd only seen it in the Littlewood catalogue. Or was it, no, it was Grattan catalogue. And I called it the 16-bit. Have you got a 16-bit? He's like, yeah, I didn't know what 16-bit meant. And he was like, yeah. That's a Mega Drive. It's twice the power of that. I was like, what? No, I've got a Master System. That's not the master of Sega. And he was like, no. No, 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 no. And then we read up a bit on it. We bought a Sega magazine and read it, and I was like, oh, Mum, for Christmas, can I have a Mega Drive?
Did did you apologise to Reggie?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what did that look like?
Um. Well, I sort of blamed it on Sega for advertising it wrong.
Of course you did.
I said they should have called it the 8-bit.
Oh wow.
The
And how
8-bit
did he take
drive,
it?
the
How did he
16-bit
take
Mega.
that? Was it like, don't worry about it? Was it like, I told you.
Well, because then he had Streets of Rage, and he took me around his to play Streets of Rage on his Mega Drive, and I was just like, oh my God, okay, yeah. And this controller's massive, and it's got 3 buttons. I'm like, oh, okay,
Mum,
all
can
right.
I have a friend round? Reggie, you never ask for friends. Who is this? No, Mum, I'm going to cut to the chase to you. He's going to speak like this because he's obviously so much more mature than you. Look, Mum, I'm going to cut to the chase. This little grifter at school, absolute grifter. Right, you got a master system.
I,
Say
are you?
last year, Reggie. I know. And he was telling everyone at school that Master System was the master, and therefore it was better than the Mega. I mean, can you imagine? Oh, so why are you bringing this Neanderthal round? I want to, I
School
want to
him.
show him, Mummy, exactly what the Mega Drive could. Make sure you show him Street to Rage, Reggie. Yes, tell him to come round. I'll put the best tea on. Yeah, what do you want? Alphabetic spaghetti? Huh?
Cup of Earl Grey and the entrance to
No,
Streets of Rage.
no, he wants to show you how he can live, mate. He's gone full turkey dinosaurs. You've got there, and Mum's put out a couple of full price Mile bars, not even
You
penguin,
you don't realise how close to the truth this is.
not
You
even
do not
value.
realise how close, because he had this. If you remember, there was like in the like late 80s, early 90s, there was this cool sort of desk you'd get, black desk with red handles on it. It's black and red, was all quite cool. He
Yes.
had one of those. He had this lovely big size portable. He had a Mega Drive. When I went round his bedroom, he had like posters up. He had the Ferrari poster, Testarossa, and all this on his walls, but they were framed posters, right? They're not.
Oh,
And then right
holy.
next to his desk, right, he had little speakers for his TV as well for Streets of Rage. And next to his desk, he had a pair of original one Michael Jordan boots. He had next to it, and I just thought, he's living the life. His kid's living the life. He's got everything. He's got Michael Jordans, yeah. And then because Streets of Rage went, oh, telling the stories that scrolled up, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's not being in the cinema.
Did you end up getting Rage for the Master System?
Oh yeah, I mean that was. I went home and just looked at it and thought, you absolute piece of crap.
Oh, so you
You've
had
ruined me.
Rage. By this point in time, you had Rage
Yeah,
for the
I was
Master
just like,
System.
right, I need to get a job and get a Mega Drive. I need this now.
Night and day. Wow.
Even when I
Okay.
got my Mega Drive, I didn't have a setup like him. I had one of the little white discs and still had my little Orion. TV. I got a photo somewhere of that, but I was still had my Spectrum at the time, and every
I
now and then
just
I'd
want to
still go
speak
back and
for a
play the
moment
Spectrum.
of that setup, though. I mean, it's got like shades of adult to it, hasn't it? Do you think Daddy was involved? Because the stereo speakers, that's another level for a kid.
Yeah, that. I mean, I knew his dad as well. I mean, I don't know if his dad was so much into it. I think he had an older brother who would guide them
Is the
to what.
family still around your local area?
Sort of, yeah. Some of them still are, yeah, but some of them still gone.
We need that Mega Drive in the show for the museum. You need to go to their house, you need to track them down, you need to find out. And if that desk is still kicking around, we need that as well.
Oh, that would be amazing because I can see that as clear as
The
day.
desk that blew RGT away.
Well, you went
It
in his bedroom. That's the first time I've been in his bedroom. You opened his bedroom door, right? And that was these posters around the wall. He had his bed on the left of the door, and to the right, I looked around. There was this desk with this big tube set on there, black desk, red handles on. He had the stereo speakers either side of the TV. His Jordan sat down beside it, and I'm still rocking a pair of Golas, and I'm like, my God, he's got like £70 trainers. I've got like 9.99 Golas where the bits are cracked all on the top. I've been playing five-a-side. I'm like,
wow.
oh my God, this guy's living the life. He's living the life. And then that Streets of Rage come up, and I'm like, yeah, my bedroom looks a bit MFI at the
What other
moment.
posters did he have, do you think?
He had the Ferrari Testarossa that said Testarossa in the font underneath, framed. He had a Streets of Rage one,
Oh,
framed. He also had the tennis lady scratching her bum.
oh, it's my ultimate retro room.
Yeah, he had one from. Oh, I can't think. It looked sort of a magazine thing, but that was that sort of 90s font where that was all sort of jazzy lines and stuff. I can't. I think it was from a magazine. It must have been a Sega magazine or something he had. And then there was one more. I think it might have been Chicago Bulls because he was into his basketball. I think it was Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan
Oh,
Duncan, I think, on there. And then he had like real cool carpet, sort of a dark carpet with jazzy lines going through it, like you'd sort of see in an arcade.
oh, mate, what? Not, no, don't be gentle, but almost like the intro to movies, games, and videos.
Yeah, not far from, not quite as colourful, but
Oh,
yeah, that was yeah.
find this guy. I want to marry him.
Yeah, he had the setup. He was the connoisseur of the Mega Drive. So then after that, he was like the
Let
guru at
me tell you
school.
now, Reggie makes Terry Blow look like a loser, and I didn't think that possible.
Well, I used to like you because he'd get games regularly as well. Do you know what I mean? He had a job as well. He worked, so he got good money at the time for his job. So he bought games regularly. So we'd be like, "What are you playing now on your Mega Drive?" And he'd be like, "Oh, just picked up a RPG called Fantasy Star. So I've been working my way through that." And then you just like, "What?" And then he'd be on to something else and Shining Force or
NBA Jam, did he play
yeah.
that?
And he had a little yeah, NBA Jam was his game. He was good at NBA Jam, but he'd have a little shelf next to the unit, and they'd have the games set up like videos. Well, I'd have one at a time, which would take me a year to save up. 39.99 of doing my advertiser paper round, of which I got £1.32.
When and if I build a retro room, it will be a tribute to this kid's room.
Yeah, it was. He even had like, can you remember? I know I'm going into detail. I'm sorry, I'm waffling on here, but he even had his bed to the left. His bedspread had that sort of dark grey and black again with them 90s lines on. Used to get them in. Used to get the bed set like jazzy 90s bed set. So that was sort of arcade looking almost. It was yeah. He had the room. He had the room. I had a little white MFI desk. It was a bit wonky, so you had to put it in a corner so it didn't fall
What was the
over.
rest of the house like? I know we're going off track now, but I need to know what the tech. I mean, if he had that set up in his room, what did his parents' living room TV
Well,
setup look
the
like?
actual house is a standard sort of late 80s, early 90s house, a few brown carpets, that sort of thing. It was a standard sort of setup, but they always had, like, the TV was the latest TV. Their hi-fi was stack system with the glass lid,
Mm.
vinyl in. One of the first ones to get a CD player. They were that sort of, oh yeah, my dad just put the CD on. I'm like, what's a CD? He's like, never heard of a compact disc? No. Come here, son. Yeah. He's put like money for nothing in on CD, and I'm like, oh my god.
What
Go home.
if you knew him a bit later on, what console did he get after the Mega Drive? Or did he just
Um,
flirt away
he
from
got
it? That
no,
was
he
him done.
no, he went to Mega CD. He got Mega CD. He was right to Mega CD,
Oh,
and then I do believe I might have got this wrong, so don't quote me on it. I think he got a 32X, and I think he had the Tower of Power next to his TV. I think he rocked that for a while, but then we with school and that we sort of lost contact. I think he's still local, but we lost contact a bit, and I don't know what he went on to after that. But yeah,
dude,
he was Sega
I
all over, all the black.
I want him. Do you think he's still cool now?
Yeah, yeah, I reckon. Yeah, yeah,
I think you should ask him if he wants to come on for an episode of Flashback.
that would be amazing.
We should do that.
Yeah, you'll have to leave it with me, but
What's his first name? Because I called him Reggie. Let's call him by his real name.
Jamie.
Jamie. He. Do you mind if I call you Jim? Too familiar? Okay, Jimothy. No, if you don't mind, I'll call you
Timothy.
I'll call you Jamie.
Hello, Timothy. Do you mind that? Yeah, well, I'll have to see if I can find him again. But yeah, that was brilliant. But yeah, that was we went a bit off topic there. But Mars System was my second memory. And just a few games of note here that I liked playing on. Like I say, Aztec Adventure was Zelda clone. Fantasy Zone, I played to death on there. The music, it's what people would probably call a cute 'em up nowadays. But
It
it's
was
like,
the OG in my opinion, and I tell
yeah,
you what, there's something
what a
about Fantasy Zone that looks great. I think I've played that version. I've got it on the Master System. I've played that version on
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Great game.
yeah, and the music was superb. The brilliant game, it controlled really well, and that was the first time, one of the first times I remember in a game of upgrades. You knew when I'd save my coins up and get that real strong weapon, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you feel the boss. I know they were timed
Do
weapons, but
you know my takeaway of that game?
what?
It's one of the only Mega Drive games that's kind of got that washed out color palette of the SNES.
Yeah, that's very
Instead of being
true.
the bold colors, it's kind of like a little sort of opaque tint, like toned down version, and it seems to be
Sort of
very
pastel
sim.
colours more, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the correct terminology. It's a similar pastel colors to the ones that you see in the backgrounds of Mario, and for that reason, I think that game sort of stands out and in a way looks little bit timeless.
Yeah, yeah, great game. Like I say, I played that to death. Absolutely loved that. I'd played obviously from my incarnations through Space Invaders and how it got me into gaming and early Pac-Man games. Having a shooter again was brilliant, and having one so different, and yeah, that was great fun. I loved that game, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, so that was sort of most games. I think only one more I remember having. I did have Streets of Rage on the Master System back in the day, which was decent enough, to get that Streets of Rage itch. You just didn't quite get that music. You still had your little plonky plonk music, whereas obviously on the Mega Drive around Jamie's with the stereo speakers, that ripped on.
Mate,
Absolutely brilliant.
I am thinking that uh, Jamie's the new Flashback co-host. He's got way more skin in the game.
He's probably forgot all this. That's only me that's kept that lodged in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you? What's your second nostalgia trip then, George?
So linking into the Super Nintendo, the aforementioned Super Nintendo memory, I got the Super Nintendo. There was a lot of talk about, as a Super Nintendo owner where I was from, even the year this game came out that I'm going to mention, I felt a bit on the ropes. Sonic 2 was big, Mortal Kombat 2, Blood, all the talk of like the differences. The Mega Drive still was the bigger boys console. It was like the little engine that could with the Mega CD add-on and all that sort of stuff. And, I felt a little bit maybe intimidated. I needed someone as a Super Nintendo owner that I could say, actually, this is the most powerful console. And that game came in the form of something I unwrapped this Christmas morn. It was Donkey Kong Country. It was the
Oof.
hot game of the moment. It was a
Mm,
game that famously uses the Silicon graphics machine to
mm,
generate the pre-rendered graphics, which were then scaled down quite considerably, one may add, um, to the point where it'd be nice to see that original art, that whole game remade with the original pre-digitized anyway, before we get distracted and go on another side ramble. This game looked $1 million in the magazine stills. Any footage I saw of it in adverts or previews on any TV show I could get my hands on, I was it was hard to believe what you were seeing and understand it was on the Super Nintendo because it felt a graphical leap to where we imagined maybe 32-bit games would be. So, because we didn't really know what was coming or what it would look like, so we just expected it to be a better version of 16-bit. Well, this was it in our eyes, in our hands. I got the launch version. It came with the CD soundtrack that I
Oh,
had for the longest time, that now has sort of disappeared into the edges of forever, I guess. The game itself, from the minute you put it in, turn it on, you see Cranky Kong, and you're like, "This is something else. This I didn't expect this." And then, boom! All of a sudden, Christmas morning, I'm up in my bedroom playing this game, really getting a bit blown away by it, enjoying it, knowing that it was a challenge, even to sort of 16-bit indoctrinated George. I knew this game was a little bit of a. It was beautiful, but it was also brutal.
mm,
But just the wide-eyed wonderment of walking back in the little doorway of your tree house, and that's where your banana stash was, and it's like, oh, it's really interactive because it's like, oh no, it's like all your Kong bananas are gone. The way you can kind of climb back upstairs into your bedroom from memory, into your tree house, and get an extra life and muck around in there. Although there was nothing to really do, you could really kind of role play being Kong in this universe because
yeah,
it was quite a nice little universe they created. The reimagining a Donkey Kong, something that was synonymous with the early arcades and graphically looking a bit weak, was all of a sudden um, looking very strong in the playground. He certainly gave you a bit of gravitas again. It played well with the controller. Jumping on the animals was unique. That felt very different, very fresh, very cutting edge. Smashing through the gaming level infrastructure into the small bonus areas, collecting the little Kong things, kind of walking behind the scenes. Don't get me started on the music. The music
oh, superb.
literally blew me away from the start, and the first level as well, must be said, where you kind of transition from night into sort of darker as you go through, and
Mm,
then the rain. Absolutely brilliant. The music for me, I've got the Nintendo Music app, and I will often put on the underwater level music. And the great thing about the Nintendo Music app is you can set it to make an hour-long version of that
oh,
song.
really?
So it will stretch it out. I think you can tell it to make it infinite, and it will do it. It kind of uses an algorithm or something to. It will just. I'm not going to be. I'm butchering it, but you know the one.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Obviously, you've got the great one thing that really blew me away as I progressed through the game was, I think, in one of the mine levels, there's some lights that swing and they kind of light the level up from being
Mm,
dark or underlit to being really brilliantly lit. And that graphical effect, I remember just thinking, like, this looks real to me. Now, yeah, you'd be like, George, really? But bear with me. On a CRT, especially in the day when that was as good as it got, that certainly looked incredible to me.
yeah.
That whole game had me salivating. The only thing that made me a little butthurt about the whole experience was it was tougher than I wanted it to be getting
Mm,
through that game. One little last mention, and it's not really very Christmassy, but it's about the game, is the map as well. That
yeah.
was also iconic. It was almost, now again, photorealistic of this stupid Kong Island, don't get me wrong, but seeing
Was
the little
then.
characters and the little surf shack and all the little details, it was really, really great. And I will be playing that on completion of this. I'll play it on Switch Online, admittedly, because I'm not going in the loft for that. But I,
I think,
well,
yeah, that people, who weren't of that generation will look back and not think too much of Donkey Kong Country. But back in the day, if you look at a standard 2D side-scrolling platformer or a Mario game, anything like that from that era, then look at Donkey Kong Country. You see what Rare did. I mean, I remember my friend getting it saying, "Oh yeah, yeah." I thought he didn't, he didn't call it the correct terms, but he was like, "Yeah, I thought they use like real characters. That's all like real things." And I'm like, "What are you on about?" Watched him play the game, and I was like, "Is this on your Super Nintendo?" He was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "How are they doing this on a Super Nintendo? The iconic music, the sound effects, the way they were rendered just looked it's absolutely like you say iconic and proved that you could still increase games graphically by using still a base system and because obviously Super Nintendo went on with the FX chip and managed to actually put chips in the cartridges to improve the games, which I think Sega did later on with Virtua Race and that sort of thing. But they learnt that rather than doing the console, you can do it through software through the cartridge. And yeah, I was blown away by Donkey Kong Country.
Well, talk to me about because I was obviously a Super Nintendo owner, feeling a bit sort of butthurt because I still felt like I had like not the bigger boy console, so I was yearning for something that was weaker but had more kudos in my
yeah,
eyes.
yeah,
You had the machine with more kudos, and then obviously was aware of Donkey Kong Country, so you didn't have a Super Nintendo, as far as I'm aware.
no.
How did you feel as a Mega Drive owner seeing this thing take hold?
Well, I think there's me and my friend. I think we knew that there were certain titles on either of our consoles that you knew the other one either wouldn't get or couldn't do. So, for instance, he used to envy Streets of Rage and Streets of Rage 2 because it was more family friendly to Super Nintendo. You didn't,
It
I know
was.
you had your Mortal Kombats on there, but there was that toned down, like you say, Green Blood, that sort of thing. It was all toned down. So whereas Streets of Rage was a rough city in an area and that was all dark and you were fighting your way through these
People had
criminals.
shivs, dude.
Yeah, yeah, dodgy explosions, all the rest of it. So that was his sort of envious eyes on my system. Now me looking at him, it was games like I always remember the games. There'd be Donkey Kong Country because you looked at that and thought the Mega Drive isn't doing that. That isn't running that. Then you'd look at things like Star Fox, even Mario Kart because you looked at Mario Kart and that sort of pseudo 3D they done where the screen would and you looked at that and thought yeah, I don't know if I'm getting that on my Mega Drive. So there was them titles, but Donkey Kong Country was always one of the ones where I thought I can't see them doing anything on my Mega Drive like that. That looks super. Almost to me reminded me of it was, which it literally was, but it was animation. It was like you were playing a really good animated cartoon,
Mhm.
rendered cartoon. It was yeah, brilliant and light years ahead how they done it. And it's unusual as well because there was a certain way to make platformers in that time, and Rare were just like, no, we're going to do it this way. Let's make
Yeah.
it work this way, and then actually pulled it off. And
Yeah.
superb, yeah, brilliant memory. What a game as well. As one of them, there's very few a lot like this, but timeless. Donkey Kong Country is timeless. You go back now, it still plays well. Yes, it is tough as nails, but you go back now, it plays well. It's great fun to play. It still looks so ahead of its generation. It's unbelievable. Yeah, brilliant game. Absolutely brilliant. Um, I think we'll move on now to next one of our listener comments.
Yeah. Do it.
Um, this is from Rose Space Monk, our Dreamcast legend from the UCP Discord. And he's put, I think I may have shared this before, but I remember one Christmas, me and my brother getting a Mega Drive 2 with Mega Collection, including Streets of Rage and Golden Axe. As soon as we opened the box and I pulled out a controller, it slipped out of my hand and fell right into the dog's water bowl. So I had to sit and watch my brother play while
I'm
my control
sorry, Diggy.
while my controller sat drying on the radiator.
I mean,
Bless him. How gutted would you be
we
as
I do
well?
believe we've definitely I feel like I've heard that story, so it must have come up in one of the early Christmas specials over on the main show on the UCP, where we've done maybe something similar to this before with the nostalgic Christmases, but every single time it gets me. It's that brutal hardship of being a young kid, isn't it? Sort of learning, and these
Yeah.
things aren't just laugh offable as they are as an adult. Although you'd still be a bit embarrassed. Oh God, PS5 controller just landed up in a dog bowl.
Oh God.
That's me paying little Johnny 70 quid to see his dad on the way out the door so he could get a new one. But these are the days where you could dry these things off, mate. So it's not too harm done, but you
I
know,
can I can just feel. I can't think of a memory. I remember the feeling. I know I've done something similar. I think I had a Tandy radio controlled car. It was a Beetle. My mum and dad couldn't afford the Tamiya's, so they got me like a Tandy one, which is like Radio Shack, but it was still pretty quick. And I think I was using it after about 3 days. I hit it into the neighbour's garage and broke the front suspension.
mm,
And we tried all different ways of fixing it. And I was just so gutted because I was so excited for this car. It was so fast. I was driving up and down the road to stacking it in a garage, and just that complete drop in my attitude is just like, no, absolutely gutted. And I feel like this for poor old Rose Spacebug because you got that exuberation of getting this Mega Drive and that controller, yes, and then just you can imagine watching it in slow mo. No
the dog's like,
splash. Yeah. And then your brother going, well, that was your controller. You've done that. I'm carrying on playing. You'll have to
you
let that
bloody
dry.
dipstick.
Yeah. What have you done? But yeah, bless you. Yeah. Thanks for space, mate.
Crying as well. They would have been crying, wouldn't they? Like, oh
Yeah.
God.
What's he
Sat there
done?
watching through tears like a simpering little bottom lip as he aces Golden Axe in one
And
shot.
his brother sitting there going, oh, this is probably the best game I've ever played. Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, that's a pity you can't play. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. Is your
Ouch.
controller dried it? No. Okay, you can have a go later. You'll be all right. Have a go later.
Are you ready
But
for another Christmas memory?
yeah, do you want to start this time?
Yeah, I mean this one I don't know why, but I went to the locker for Christmas memories and they're not really I never really unwrapped much stuff at Christmas. I probably just had already, acquired it or was having to have a different present or whatever it is. Tastes change, don't they? I remember getting a Green Bay Packers coat one year and like, yeah, I'm someone. Yeah. But this memory is for the original Xbox. I was very excited for this game, and it's one of these things. I included this because it's one of those times I've spoken about this on the main show, over on the UCP. But it's one of those times where I also thought of my mum in the Christmas shopping pound mall battle of it all, the confusion, the upselling techniques, the bolt-ons, the when you're at the till, have you thought about these moments? So the memory is Halo 2. I remember asking for it. I was an adult here at this point, certainly a young 20 anyway, in 20 something year old. And went over to Mumsy's to go over for Christmas lunch and all that sort of stuff, and opening it, and there it was, Halo 2. Came with the guide, so it made I got handed a parcel. Thought, what's this? And it felt like a book, and then it was the guides, like the Brady guide or whatever we call them over here of it. So that was a memory. And the obviously I went home and enjoyed the game. I think I felt a little bit underwhelmed by it, but really the core memory here is this. Somewhere in a shopping area, retail shopping area, Mumsy entered into what would have been a quite intimidating and unusual place for her, but on a quest to get little Georgie exactly, well, 20, getting her grown son a kid's toy as requested for his Christmas present. Never one to let down this spoilt frat. She obviously entered this unusual arena, the gaming shop. Now, I've got a feeling it probably would have been game, or maybe it would have been game possibly at that time. In she walks with clutching a list, you know, with other adults on the list wanting things like a pair of socks or a new sturdy coat or maybe a new briefcase for work or possibly some new tools. George, kid's toy, aka Halo 2. She looks around, scared, a little bit timid, like a bird on a spring morning looking for that little worm when there's nothing else to eat. Oh, boom, boom, Halo 2. She sees it on the shelf. Okay, we're in, We're out, she's thinking. I've still got to get that briefcase and that sturdy, hardy coat. Boom. She grabs Halo 2. She queues. She's trapped between probably another frightened mum, a grown man, and then in front of that, a teenager with body odor so rank you wish you were dead. But she's going to endure it. She's gonna endure it. Any other time she'd have walked out. Not this time. Georgie needs his kid's toy. She gets to the counter, flustered, her senses overwhelmed. Sight, smell, sound. She doesn't know where to be. Maybe even a little bit of taste. There's that smell of that cardboard, fresh tack cardboard at the till for the impulse purchase for the parent that doesn't quite know what to put in their teenage kid that they don't really know anymore stocking. Some random tack, gamer related. Boom. I'll take it. Panic's in. When the panic sets in, I'll grab anything. Okay? So Mums is there. She's locked eye to eye with the guy. He sees she's clutching Halo 2. He also sees what he can only recognize as his prey. His the animal that he feasts on more
He's
than
on
anything.
commission and he feels a
Yeah.
bonus coming.
On the Sahara of this games thing, this whole game shop, to him, he knows every nook and cranny. He knows every sinew and wrinkle on a customer's face. To him, he sits atop like a lion on a rock. In walks, can only describe as a timid looking antelope. And he knows there's his next meal, or at least the 10% commission from a copy of a Halo 2 Brady sales guy, which is probably about 40p. But he, goddamn you, will have it. He leaps to the front. Hi, can I help you? Friendly, yet non-threatening. Her senses drop immediately. I'd like this. Brilliant game. I'd recommend the guide. If you get it with the game, it's half price. What's half price look like? 20 quid. She blinks. She books. Does he need that? Oh, to unlock the full value of the game.
Your mum comes out looking like Master Chief.
He says,
Helmet on the lot.
blind, confused, she throws over the credit card and hell damn, that assembled pile of paper wrapped with some card ended up being almost three-quarters of the price of the game. She doesn't know what's going on, but at least it pads it out because getting a little DVD for Georgie, although it's a little kid's toy he wanted, he doesn't look that great. Bundle it with this, all of a sudden the gift just got supered.
He's
So
also told
she's
her that when you buy a game, you have to buy the strategy guide. Oh, yeah, he won't understand it. He needs the guide
he
with it.
needs the
Yeah,
guide.
you have to have them together. Otherwise, you won't be able to use it.
Georgie would be so happy Christmas morning.
Yeah, that's cool, though, having the old strategy guide. That is
I
pretty
know.
cool. I love strategy guides. I've got loads of them. They're brilliant.
I have. I was thinking the other day, do I need to clear some of these out? But then at the
I
same
know.
token, I pulled one out and used it in a game.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Brilliant. Oh, that's awesome, though. Halo 2. So you got Halo 2 and you got the Halo 2 strategy guide
yes,
together. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
and I think it was in an era where gaming felt a little bit kind of mature as well. Halo getting a sequel, OG Xbox maybe having those more PC grown-up games as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So felt
definitely.
quite cool systems too. By that point in time, PS2 starting to show its legs a bit as well. So
Mm.
yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, and then also we've got to remember as well, mums and dads back in the day. I mean, this was when gaming was evolving to what we know now. So going in a game shop was very alien to them. It was like you just see these wall of games. You don't know what system plays what or what's going. You don't know what
Well,
an
to
Xbox
some
is.
parents as well, with the controversy of some games like Mortal Kombat and the um, Grand Theft Auto and these sort of video nasty things, the shootings that happened in America that were traced back to Doom and things like that. And let's face it, some of these games almost had like a satanic edge to them, a little bit like people's
Mm,
feelings towards like video nasties and Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. And so you're almost, and this is where you get your fix for your kids. So you're almost like going to your kid's drug dealer. It
yeah,
would have felt a little bit kind of like, oh, what is
yeah.
this place? This is where people come to get these games that get them to do these vile things, and I'm buying it for little
You can
Johnny.
you can always imagine your mum being in there, but thinking, "Oh, I shouldn't be in here, shouldn't be in here." Look around, and then Barbara from down the road sees her in there and looks at her like, oh my God, she's gone to the dark side. She's in a game shop. I was
Hey,
like, oh no.
Bob's, you all right?
Yeah.
Oh, now then, Mumsy, how
Yeah,
you
that's not what you
doing?
think. That's not what you think. I was just getting one for little George. That's all. I was just getting a game for little George.
Oh, I love it in here. Do you?
It's amazing, isn't it? Straight down the road. You wouldn't believe this. She was in the game shop. She's gone. We're gonna have to. Yeah, don't ask her down to the meeting next week. Don't
You
ask her.
were in there. Oh, I was.
Yeah.
What's your next Christmas memory?
This is quite a modern one actually. Um, and I believe this was 2019, so 6 years ago. I believe. I think it was 2019. This is another one I had no inkling for, hadn't asked for, didn't know. And this is Mrs. RGT. Now, Mrs. RGT has a bit of a knack of getting me gaming presents and gaming related presents that one are always awesome and two stuff I haven't got and quite unique at times. For instance, when I had my big collection in my shed, she would go through and see systems and games and find out what were rarer games or more highly rated games and work out which ones I hadn't got, and then she'd pick them up for me for Christmas. Very, time consuming, but very clever with the presents. But this was 2019. I didn't own a Switch or anything at the time. It was, still on my PS4 Pro. On the Switch Lite had come out. Um, and I think I'd only just said one time, oh, Switch Lite is pretty cool, where you can have it just as your handheld then, the PS4 Pro is my main system. Didn't think nothing of it. And then Christmas Day, she was just handed me this little box, opened up. There it was, turquoise Switch Lite, with Luigi's Mansion 3 she bought me as well. And that was one of the times, I mean, yes, I was in my 40s, but that was that excitement of having a new console and game, and that really took me back. So I was just like, oh, yes, I got a Switch Lite. I got Luigi's Mansion 3, which looks awesome. And I spent my Christmas playing this Switch Lite. Absolutely brilliant. It was the colour I really liked. A lovely bit of kit. Really, I always thought the Switch Lite looks really, really nice. It had um, that's that pastel colours, but just where they were like uniform analog sticks and buttons with the one colour looked. I always think they look quite classy, almost a nod back to sort of Super Nintendo controller with the lovely colours
Yeah,
and the grey. It
yeah.
was, and I was just blown away because I just wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting a big present. We were saving up at the time as well, so I wasn't expecting anything big. But then to get that, I was just absolutely blown away. And she's done this in the past for me as well when I was collecting as well. She'd like bought me a Game Boy Advance from a collection and sourced one out and a couple of games, and she really goes into depth to try and find me stuff. And this was just, I know it's a modern console and it's this flashback, but it was just what a great Christmas memory it was. And
That's nice.
and then it got me into the Luigi's Mansion games, which if you listen to UCP, I'm now playing the original one on Switch Online, but I then went and got the second one from the 3DS and blah blah blah, and it was just, yeah, absolutely superb. And then got me into the Switch ecosystem, which I'm still in today with the Switch 2. So yeah, brilliant memory and a very very thoughtful present. But yeah, absolutely brilliant.
That's nice, mate. I think, as you say, there's something about that, the form factor of the Switch Lite. There's something about the colours of the Switch Lite. There's something about the portability and forced handheld use of the Switch Lite that I've got one in the house somewhere kicking around. Yeah, I'm sure I have. And they're just fun little things, aren't they? They
Yeah,
give the Switch back that sort of handheld element that it kind of lost when it became the Switch, when they stopped producing the 3DS and their traditional handheld range. I think that little console just gave them the leg back in that fight, and not that there is a fight because of whatever
yeah.
platform scrap going, but yeah, impressive little machine, lovely little thing. It's got that nice Christmas chill vibe to it, hasn't it? It's got
It
that
has, and
cuddle up on the
also
sofa, fiddle around.
she
It's
also got me
nice.
Nintendo Online, which then, as we know, has evolved, and you've now got that. You can get that Christmas feeling evolved with it, with nostalgia, because you got your Mega Drive, you got your Super Nintendo on there, you got your Nintendo Entertainment System, you got your GameCube, and it's it's so good because you can now, jump on your Mega Drive and play Ghouls and Ghosts, but in your little handheld version as well. And it does give you that nostalgia trip. Such a great little system with a great little online. It's really opened me up to. I wasn't even thinking of. I'd sort of dabbled with the thought of getting a Switch, but didn't then. But then obviously I had that for a while. And then I got an OLED and switched to, and all the rest is history. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love that. Do you want to do another readout, George, of one of our listeners?
Sure do. That would be. Oh no, what we're gonna do?
You can just say it normal on here.
Oh, I see. Protect Flashy V at all costs.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Well, this is Fat Zangief coming in like a Christmas cracker all over the place. Toned down version for you there, sir. Now, he says, I don't have many Christmas gaming memories from my childhood, as I always tended to get console or computer hand-me-downs from family members. I was playing Acorn Electric games in 1993. Thoughts and prayers of Fat Zangief. I've always been at least a generation behind in my gaming journey, even into adulthood, so it was a massive surprise when on Christmas Day in 2015, I opened a brand new PS4 complete with a copy of Until Dawn bought for me by my missus. We've never spent that much on each other for Christmas, and I was completely gobsmacked. I, this is Fat Zangief. I love that woman, so he loves his missus. Um, That is amazing.
That's a
We
great
we
present.
love you and her too. And that as a memory, as a feeling of always being that kind of kid that was always one gen behind. Your mate's unwrapping, I don't know, a SNES and you're unwrapping a NES, you know.
Mm,
Your mate's unwrapping a PlayStation and then you finally unwrap that SNES. I mean, that's yeah, I think I've seen this talked about in the Discord. Yes, it means you've then got a massive library of games to tuck into, but you kind of always going to feel like little bits on the dacker down, you know,
mm,
finding enjoyment in things in a way because you have to, which is
mm.
a nice way to enjoy a generation of console. But to wake up feeling like the kid, the cat that got the cream that morning, feeling understood, heard, and seen by your significant other in a way that no one's ever seen, saw, or had you before. Not even your parents really got quite the idea of you wanting to just get on the white hot razor's edge and surf the tip of the biggest gaming wave in a
Yeah.
long time. And there he is, Christmas morning. Can you imagine? I've talked of it before, but there he is, the iconic blue box as the wrapping tears back, the slit of the circular seal on the top, and then the pull and the pull, the lift and the pull of the safety cardboard retention mechanism, and then the pull back and the display of its crystal white innards of the box as you smell what can only be described as fresh Japan, just as it breathes into you, the very air, the essence of the place, this thing. It's probably a backstreet in China, but to you, it's indecipherable from that smell. Mm. Don't come at me. It's to paint a picture. I don't. This is flashback. We don't. We're not caught in controversy here. Not really. Anyway, the smell of the child labour washes across you like a pungent sort of, I don't know, gut kick. You're like, oh, wow. You're like, oh my God. So then she's like, oh, hold on, because you want to get up and start playing with it all. But then you also know that you've got to do the significant thing of saying, and here's yours, knowing that you've just bought a pair of socks or something. And you got me heads or something. Oh, I misjudged it this year. Also, in the same time, while worrying about this, also thinking, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. But then also the panic. I've got nothing to play on this. She's been so generous, but then it's going to be the awkward, like, it's, menus great. And then, boom, here's your gift. Oh, DVD. Probably be the usual tats. Probably Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman. The stunning realization you got a new game for your console, but then the stunning realization that you're about to hand over a gift that will now be seen as an insult. the world's best husband mug or something. That'll be fine. You grab it in a panicking like Debenhams or something on the aisle. It's like it was dirty, but you can wipe it down. It's kind of picked up. It's like the last survivor. Like that's a great joke. She'll get that. World's best husband. Wrapping it. No panic. Suddenly you're sat there with a PS4 and a copy of Until Dawn, sweating. Just full on Niagara Falls coming off the top of your head. Oh god.
Uh,
So that's a great memory.
it
I
is,
don't.
and it's just thought, it's one of them. There's, a lot of say about Mrs. RGT. It's the thought that goes into it. They know that you would love this, and it's the research, the money, and the cost as well. But getting you that is,
Can I say 2015, the combination of a PS4 and Until Dawn would have not been an insignificant amount of money.
no, no, and Until Dawn as well. What a great game that looks fantastic on that
But what a
generation.
great game to consolidate the purchase as Mrs. Zangief. Uh, no, we'll just.
Yeah,
Mrs. Fat Zangief sits down on the sofa. Mrs. Rip Zangief sits down on the sofa next to beloved Zangief. And he says, "Oh, what?" She says, "Oh, what's this?" Pays a bit of interest. It's this. Oh, it's this horror game. I'm going to play it together. And maybe he doesn't think at first he's going to play it together because it's quite a new concept. But they end up playing it together. I want
yeah.
to know what episode 2 looks like of your PS4 journey with you and Mrs. Rip Zangief sat down
You don't have to do that every time.
playing that. Have you read the contract?
Yeah, but this is Flashy B as an extender, so this is just we
Oh,
can
so you want
waiver
him
it.
to pay for that here as well?
Oh God, yes.
Okay, fine. Okay.
No, I'm joking. But no, brilliant memory there. Zangief, great. Brilliant PS4 as well. What a present. Until Dawn, yeah, absolutely superb. Um, right, well, I'll start on the fourth one then. This is still fairly modern, I'd say. I can't remember the year exact. I think it's about 12 years ago. Um, had We had Mrs. RGT's family down, and I had no inkling on this present whatsoever. No, she's really good at getting me stuff and just keeping it all quiet. I didn't realise anything at all with this, which still surprises me to this day because this thing was in the box about nearly as big as a tumble dryer box. So how she hid it or where she put it, I have still to this day I don't know. But anyway, it was Christmas time, and we had all there was like 7, 8 of us there, all round the Christmas tree, doing the presents, couple of drinks, all having fun. Um, and then I just remember Mrs. RGT saying to my brother-in-law, "Can you go and get it for me? Because I obviously can't lift it up." And I was like, "What?" So out to the utility room we went, come back with this massive wrapped box. There you go, mate. That's your present. I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." Anyway, I open the paper, generic plain cardboard box. I'm like,
Bet you were thinking this is another blooming sex slave.
hoping. I opened the box up. Opened the box up. Lo and behold, I see R-Type marquee. I'm like, what the hell? It's my bar top arcade. She had it custom built by Paul's Custom Cabs. Black, I've got it sitting next to me here. Black, blue pipe and round the edge. She had R-Type's my favourite shooter, so she had a lit up banner of R-Type put on. Two joysticks, but they're all got 7 buttons on each, but she had them blue backlit buttons in. Um, just to give it that glow. And I was just blown away. And I just thought I'd always wanted my own arcade machine. Never thought I'd ever get one, and I don't think I'd even hardly mentioned getting an arcade machine. But she'd sourced this guy out. He was from Blackpool. She got him to build me this machine, got it shipped down to me. She had it built with, at the time, it had God of Game on, so it had 900 games. And I was just in shock. I just couldn't believe it. Um, Similar to the Spectrum days from when I was younger, I was like, had my friends round. We were playing on this 2 players because you can play 2 players on. One of my best memories Absolutely brilliant machine. Still got it now. It's upgraded a bit now to Pandora's box. I've got it on now. So there's about 1,300 games on, but it's got, you can use it for HD. You can add your own games on SD. But yeah, just absolutely blown away. One of the best presents, because not only was it gaming, it was retro gaming, it was an arcade machine, but not only that, custom built for me as well, which was just one of the best presents ever. Still one of the prides in my collection, and absolutely brilliant machine. Definitely recommend get one if you ever want to get one. But brilliant, yeah. So arcade machine. I think it was about 20, I'd say 2013, something like that. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Love that machine. So good.
I tell you what, in 2013, that's one hell of a cutting edge sort of gift to receive.
Mm, mm,
Your own arcade machine at home, loaded like that, comes affectionately adorned with your favorite as well, the marquee from R-Type. I mean, this lit as well. I mean, this is quite the gift, quite the symbol
mm.
of Mrs. RGT's misplaced love.
Yeah. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. And like I say, that after a few years, about 6, 7 years, maybe a bit longer, the board broke. Contacted the guy and he said, right, here's a link. You can buy this straight from Japan. I think I paid £28 delivered for my Pandora's box board, and they literally just unplugged, screwed that in the back, fitted it, wired it all back up. You got 1,300 games and the SD card slot to add whatever you want to it, and it's HDMI if you want to go down that route. But I've got it on VGA on a 4:3 screen. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You get that arcade buzz from it. There's all the games you want, all sectioned off, from shooters to, your retros to fighters to, beat 'em ups, everything's on there, puzzle games, the lot. Brilliant. And it's just, again, that Christmas, I've got a bar top stand for it now, so it stands like an arcade machine with shelves in, which I bought from an arcade company supplier. But originally I didn't, so I had it to stand in on the dining room table. And that was just that Christmas. It was like going back to Spectrum days. Friends come around for a drink at Christmas. Oh, what did you get? Oh, Donna's had me this arcade machine. There we were, beer each, playing through Cadillac and dinosaurs, or brilliant, brilliant, brilliant fun. And still love it to this day. Absolutely awesome machine.
It's a good
Well,
job this is Flashy B because I've had to sort of literally my tongue's been bit off.
I gathered that when I was, just putting out my heartfelt
And there wasn't
message to Mrs.
really. I
RGT.
tell
How
you,
I
the first thing that triggered me is what's this? What's this? No, what's
uh,
this?
the light up buttons. Yeah, that's what I
It's a
was.
dead one of these.
That yeah, you changed it straight over to that.
What's this?
It's a good job this is audio only.
It's a dead one of these.
But no,
That
brilliant.
must be a Christmas memory for someone.
Probably. But my Christmas memory was the bar top. So
Beautiful.
beautiful machine. Brilliant. Love it. And very personal as well. So that will never be going anywhere, that machine. It's absolutely brilliant.
She keeps rocking up with these stellar gifts. I hope she's doing a podcast about all the gifts that you got her.
Well, the problem is, I don't know if you can really do a podcast about 9 bottles of talc, but mm,
Ooh,
I mean, one was a double size one. So, I mean,
talc or
yeah, talc. Yeah. Yeah. So,
don't forget it's Flashy B.
mm,
Okay, so my Christmas. This is more an era of a feeling, a true season of feeling. Now, this feeling is based around Ocarina of Time, and it's also based around OG Tom. So I was a young, spunky fellow lad. He'd acquired himself a job. He had wages. He had disposable income. I'd got myself a copy of Ocarina of Time, and I was playing it sort of over the holiday period into Christmas. Loving it. For me, that game will be tied up with Christmas just for time memorial, really. Now, the reason why it's here is because at this time, I'd always knocked about with OG Tom, played with him as
mm.
mhm,
We know what you mean. Wrong show.
played together.
Yeah.
But there was an age gap. And, so there was a little bit of drift sometimes. I'd be like off doing bigger boy things and whatnot. And one day we were out and about somewhere. I think we were bush beating actually. And so me and OG Tom would have some time and we'd be talking about this, that, and the other. And I can't remember if he had an N64 or he had asked for one. And we got talking and he said, "Oh, have you got one?" And I said, "Oh yeah, yeah, I've got one of those." He said, "Oh, what game are you playing?" I was like, "Oh, I'll tell you what I'm playing. Ocarina of Time." "What's that?" "Oh, Tom." "Oh, mate. If you don't know what this is, you're out of touch, sunshine." So this game, you this lad, this warrior, you go through this journey, you got to do all this stuff, you got to fight, you get into this big open world, and you're then out there fighting all these different creatures on there at night, and then at daytime, what's night and day? Like, yeah, 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 all that. Oh my God. So you ride your horse. You can ride a horse. Oh yeah, you got to kind of train it first, but you can summon it with this whistle. Oh my God. Like, oh yeah, yeah. And this my retelling of what Ocarina of Time is or could be must have blown little Tom's socks off because that night, and it must have been maybe early November, he must have rushed to a panic mumsy and said, "I need Ocarina of Time." She's probably thinking, the Whew, hmm, good job, good job we haven't done the Christmas shopping yet. Anyway, Christmas morning, I can't remember what I got. Probably some grown up jeans or t-shirt, probably from John Rocha, the safe place for mummy to go into. So that's kind of on brand. There's a name attached to it. Boom. I'm here. Might as well do it. Bam, bam. Till done. Out. Job sorted. Get my belt on the way out. Awesome. But upstairs, I was playing Ocarina of Time, living my best life. Anyway, we went to my nan's for Christmas, as we would do. Now, I can't remember if I took the N64 and my TV with me. I maybe didn't, because I probably drove home that night, so felt it unnecessary. But while we were there, set up in the corner of an area was OG Tom, struggling to get through Hyrule Castle. There's a little stealth section early on where, and who, we joke about it now. Who would have thought there's me educating him on stealth, who's now like quite a proficient stealth player, and there's me walking in like Arnold Schwarzenegger on a full budget 80s movie with Uzi in each hand and probably a couple of Berettas on my ankles, looking like a one-man man. Oh, Texas Pete walks into town. Um, anyway, he was struggling to get through the section where you got to wait for the guards to stop moving and you kind of crawl, you walk through the garden behind their backs and behind hedges and different bits and bobs in a kind of an isometric uh, sort of pergola, for want of a better word, that you kind of view it through. It's a bit of a strange concept, but some of the inner areas of Hyrule Castle were kind of in this locked in view. And on doing as I taught him, there was this almost passing of knowledge. There was this Obi-Wan to Anakin level of kind of this relationship development between me and OG Tom, where he kind of looked up at me, and I don't know if he looks up to me now. Probably looks down at me. Probably hates me. Most people hate me, to be fair.
Mm,
But see, it's true. It's the initial
mm,
response, like, yeah, most people probably hate you. Anyway, I'm not here to be loved, but I want to be liked. Um,
mm.
there was this sort of passing of the guard, this passing of the torch. My experienced travel of the Hyrule enabled me to kind of guide him through the early tentative
Brilliant.
steps.
I bet you felt a master as well.
Oh, yeah, because that obviously from there you get a little bit further and harder and deeper into the game, and it kind of unlocks a little bit from there. So then he was sort of thrown out into the full scope of it all, and yeah, I felt good but in a way that I'd kind of shared this hobby for the first time,
Yeah.
properly with a family member. Um, it was a
Yeah, it's
younger
probably
family
unusual as
member.
well because you don't normally within the family. You didn't really. I had the same thing. You didn't. My sister wasn't into that, so you didn't really have anyone to discuss gaming with. So you're all sort of on your own. But now you had a young Padawan that you could show through
Yeah,
Hyrule Castle.
exactly that. And it was the kind of game that I was in. It was in that moment. It was in my full zeitgeist. It was the game I was thinking about all the time. If it wasn't at work, I was thinking about this game. It's amazing now to look back how much of my life it took over and how much I played it and enjoyed it and just explored it. And there was always something around the next corner. it was never too difficult, but it was always a challenge. That's one thing I remember about that game. Played really well into the N64 strengths with the controller, all of that good stuff. So yeah, a great time, RGT. A
Superb.
wonderful memory.
Yeah, and obviously of a game that you love as well. Do you know what I mean? That's a game that you is so fond in your memory as one of your I would imagine as one of your greatest games of all time. Not only
I think
that,
so.
you're sharing that with someone who also loves the game as well. So there's that joint memory of
And not
that
to say
game.
that Tom didn't have the passion before, but on completion of that, he 100% did have the passion in the same way
Mm,
that I had the passion, and the
brilliant.
same passion to ingest and digest the games in the same way that I did as well, which
Mm,
made it even more special.
fantastic. Yeah, that's a great one as well because it's not only a game, but it's like I say, the process of you being good at the game, you sharing with him, and then you now got that joint nostalgia trip for Ocarina of Time, which
Well,
is brilliant.
may I add that iconic a moment that is that the genesis of the unofficial controller podcast because
Mm.
from there I started to ring Tom on the phone. So I'd have to ask for his mum. His mum would answer. I was like, "Is Tom there?" And I'd be like, "Is Tom there?" She's like, "Oh yeah, probably." Like, "Oh, there's the elder cousin, doing that guiding hand. It's just not so bad." So he would come racing downstairs or take the little handheld phone up to his room, and and that was when we started then really. I think it started then and then developed further and further. We'd gas on for hours. And we didn't know what podcasts were, but we would start, "Hey mate, what you been up to? What you been playing?" That's kind
Oh
of what we would
yeah,
say.
yeah,
Like when
yeah.
you talk about this game, and I'll talk about a game I've been playing, and then we'd talk about how I wish it had this or that or the other. And this is where some of my rants about where I say, "Oh, game," and I on the show, on the main show, a few times I've kind of invented games as I've gone along. There was a lot of that going on with me and Tom. There was a lot of times at the end, in like even 2002, even where we'd be like, "We should record these. We should
Yeah,
record these." And that's when I said to him one day, we should do a podcast. He's like, "Wait," I said, "We already do it, Tom. We've been doing it for years.
yeah. UCP Unplugged.
UCP Unplugged just for each other's own personal delectation." Yeah, so
That's
there you
brilliant.
go. So there's
That's that's the
the
precursor to it all.
the progenitor,
Yeah. Even
Pro-Magnium Man, the
brilliant.
first true episode of the UCP,
Yeah, started Rock Arena of Time.
a walkthrough guide.
You have to record that.
Oh, mate. Thing is, Tom's dad was real handy with the camcorder. I don't
Yeah.
just mean. In fact, there's lots of family moments that Tom's dad's captured, and he's really good with the cam as well. He frames the moments, and there's some of Tom opening up like I can't remember what it was, maybe a PS2 or maybe the N64,
Oh, no
maybe even
way.
Ocarina of Time. So there is almost concurrent footage that if we were to do like a "this
Stitch it
is your
in.
life," we could probably get the footage and stitch it in. Yeah, for
That'd
sure.
be incredible. That'd be incredible. Yeah, brilliant one there. We'll jump on to another listener memory. And this is from our good friend Harvey Retro. Um, from over on our UCP there on our Discord. He said, I remember getting Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition on Sega Mega Drive for Christmas in 1992, and it was the first time I was aware of the price of a game being high and surprised my parents bought it. It was 59.99, and that's around £177 in today's money, which is mental when you really think about it. It is.
It
It
is.
is, and we used to, I know a lot of people moan about how the price of games have gone up. I mean, I remember I had a friend who used to, I think he had a NTSC Super Nintendo, I think, and he used to import games, and they were 70, £80 then to import them, So yeah, it's game prices have been quite stagnant for a lot of years, really. And I
I
mean,
don't
you
know whether
think,
it's I don't know whether it's I'm sort of numb to it or not, but I don't know why, but I never walked in a shop and saw that number back in the day and thought, "Oh my God, that's too much." It
no, I
was
didn't. I didn't.
to me, it was just a gateway to to the joy.
Yeah, I mean, and I came from Spectrum, so I was paying 1.99 and 2.99 for Mastertronic games and stuff, you know. So then to jump to a Master System where I was paying £40.
I know we have to account for interest and the rising cost of money and the cost of living, etc., in some of these calculations. But to me, sometimes I think, yeah, that, you know, when you see a chocolate bar, you think, oh yeah, you know, that's gone up in price. But then you look at a video game and it's just almost like it almost feels like that's always been like the circular price.
Yeah, yeah, that's weird,
It's
isn't it?
weird. Yeah,
You
it
know,
is
but then when you
weird.
put it with the rate of inflation, you put it to £177 a day, you realise how lucky we are when our parents bought us these
But it
games
didn't
because,
feel like you were blowing the equidistant version of 177 quid, though, did it? It felt like you were blowing 50 quid.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
It's
weird, isn't it?
weird. It is
Yeah.
weird.
You know, even though probably back, 1992, you're probably paying £1.50 for a pint of beer, which is now about seven, £8. You don't think of it like that, do you? You did,
Well, I think one thing that could be said for that is that those items like chocolate, like beer, like sweet drinks, have been taxed.
yeah,
Taxes are to make us not want to use them. I don't imagine a world where anyone wouldn't want their kid to have a little bit of chocolate or
yeah,
themselves on that cold, rainy day. But we've got to pay a sugar tax because there's probably 1 in 4 million people have ate themselves to death,
mm,
which I find hilarious. Video games so far, apart from value added tax, have escaped any kind of associated sort of demon tax
mm,
which let's face it, they've probably swayed very hard towards as the industry has skirted controversy over the years.
yeah,
So maybe that's one thing that's kept the price of gaming pretty locked in. Everything else has been deemed to be dangerous to us,
mm,
but video games, albeit labelled as dangerous to us,
yeah,
actually good for us, could be
and
argued.
definitely. And I mean, what a game, Harvey, as well. Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition as well. I mean, you must have felt a
I mean,
boss
man,
picking that up.
I'm not even joking, but that game is a significant, like, yes, Street Fighter, a lot of people had that. But although it was just the next version out, to have that version on your
Mm,
shelf was almost like a mark of honor. Even if you never played it, that suggested to people that came round that you were a hyper champion.
yeah,
It was almost on that next level of like,
it's
it's like having
brilliant.
a PS5 and a PS5 Pro. What, you got Street Fighter? Darling, not only do I have that, but I've got the Hyper 4400 fighting stick version. Oh, God, bloody hell, darling. I mean, and that was when that meant something as well in that era, you know, Street Fighter 2, it was almost like the next iteration, the sequel of it. It was yeah, nice. And
Yeah,
only Harvey Retro would have that.
yeah, exactly, exactly. The ultimate edition of it.
The
Absolutely.
Ultimate Edition.
Should we do one more each? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to town. I've got a smattering of others that I could do.
Well, why don't we do one more each, and we can always do some more for keep some more for next year's one.
Well, I'm gonna lob up four the titles I've written down, and then you choose one,
Yep,
and then we'll take that one. So it's one more each or two more each.
we'll do one more each.
Okay. So my titles that you can choose from are No Mercy Christmas Bells, Christmas in Gotham, A Shootout at the OAP Corral. I'm making these up as I go, by the way, based on the what they are. Or Father Son Avengers Team Up. No, Father Daughter Avengers Team Up.
I'm gonna have to go Christmas at Gotham.
Christmas at Gotham. Not that long ago. I can't really remember when it was. I think it was during the pandemic, so it would have been the Christmas of
Yes.
2020. I, on the main show, the Unofficial Controller podcast, on my What You've Been Playing section of it, had stumbled into Batman Arkham Asylum on my beloved PlayStation 3. Now, I'd played the original games through, enjoyed them, but I pick up Batman Arkham Origins, put it in the machine,
I think it was maybe at the end of November, beginning of Christmas, and I start playing this game. I dabbled with it before, but it never really stuck. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, this game stuck, and it stuck hard. It was the Christmas theming. I had some sort of coloured Christmas lights in the room at the time, which were very sort of reminiscent of the lights that you see in the game. Um, I don't normally drink, very rarely, if at all, probably never. But this Christmas, I'd got in some little 330 millimeter cans of JD and Coke and Jim Captain Morgan
Yeah,
rum and Cokes. Uh, Maybe only like maximum eight, and a mixture of those two across those cans. You know,
yeah.
nothing heavy, nothing heavy. And I would get a little tumbler glass, a couple of bits of ice, decant one of these cans in there.
Nice.
I'm one of those people as well, though. The 330 can didn't fit in the glass, so I'm someone who poured as much in as he could and then just basically schooled what was in the
I do
can,
that now.
crushed it, and then just bounced it in the bin. And then I would go through, set the glass down, fire in the corner of the room, burning away, console would turn on. There I was, and instantly I was transported. And I've never had a Christmas themed game hit so hard, works so hard, and just feels so perfect. I do believe I think I throat chopped this around sort of like Christmas Day, Boxing Day. I think I maybe pulled the drawstring closed on my playthrough as well, and it was perfect in every single way a Christmas memory you could ask for. It was a bit selfish, it was a bit self-indulgent, I have to admit, looking back at it now. But everyone was happy in the house. I was happy. I had all day to myself pretty much, and yeah, what a great little memory.
And I remember you saying to me when we first got to know each other, and I remember you saying to me about Origins, um, brilliant Christmas game, one of the best Christmas games ever, to the state where I thought, right, I'm going to have a go at this at Christmas. And you are so bang on with that game. It Certain games have a feeling of Christmas, and everyone's their individual. Everyone has their own games, but this is one that was shared. And I started playing it at Christmas time and just thought, you are so right. This is almost feels like watching like a Home Alone at Christmas. It's what you do at Christmas, and this game
Well,
has that feeling
it does,
of
and I
Christmas.
tell
It's
you,
so good.
I didn't remember this, and it was only a couple of nights ago. Me and Rachel sometimes put a movie on to fall asleep, or or go up to bed and put a movie on, turn it off as we're getting sleepy or whatever. And we watched the original Batman, 1989 Batman, and then we've moved on to Batman Returns.
Hmm.
And mate, that's a Christmas movie I totally forgot. It's never talked about as a Christmas movie. It's never mentioned as an aside. It's not in the same pantheon of like Die Hard or any of that, but it's a movie set at Christmas. And as soon as they were doing the Christmas tree thing where the penguins sort of kooks come in and start messing the town up, and you got Selena Carr walking around with the snow on the floor, and Batman comes in, and there's toys for sale in the window, and it's all framed up with Christmas. I was like, yeah, Batman is a dish best served at Christmas.
Mm.
And there's
You've
something
got me wanting
about
to play it now, actually.
I've got me. I mean, I'm off to go play Donkey Kong Country. I'm off to go fire up Batman Arkham Origins, see if I can get Rachel half interested in it. Get the file lit. The Christmas decks are all up. I
Oh,
mean,
don't,
boom.
don't.
Let's dine out, darling. Let's have a
Oh,
mince pie. Let's have a little bit of mulled wine. Let's
oh,
settle into Christmas. The wrapping's done pretty
oh,
much, baby.
oh.
Snow is falling all around you.
We're in the zone.
People playing Christmas games with tinsel and all that good stuff. Yeah. Dad's asleep and Granddad's dead. It was an old age, but choking on bone.
You took it down a different route there.
That story for you in your home. Christmas memories, we're down in the zone. RGT, bring it home, bring it home.
Snow is falling all around me. George is playing Batman Origins. He's in the corner with a mulled wine. Rachel's getting a mince pie. How's that?
That is perfection personified and almost the perfect way to see out the show. Unfortunately, we've got your memory to do, so we went early. Maybe if you're in the editing suite, you can mix this up and make
I don't know
it
if I'm that
good.
good at editing. Well, I've got two choices for you.
Yeah,
I've got it's a really recent one. We've got Going for Gold, or we've
okay.
got Bargain of a Lifetime.
I love a bargain, as do our listeners, and
Hmm.
that's why my ears are peaked and I'm intrigued for, mate, and let me say to you this now. This had better be a ZX Spectrum version of you getting Matthew Kelly's Going for Gold quiz game, or I quit Flashy B.
So which one you want? Bargain of a Lifetime?
Yeah. No. Oh. Is Going for Gold Matthew Kelly?
No.
So for the future of Flashback, I choose Bargain of a Lifetime.
Right. Well, I've said this story before, I think, on UCP a couple of times, but this was one Christmas we were up in Cumbria at my in-laws. I can't think of the year when that would have been, 2000 something. I can't think when it was, but anyway, I'd had some Christmas money for Christmas. People didn't know what to get me, so I built a bit of money up, and we went into local town, do a bit of shopping on Boxing Day, and I went into Game Station. And while I was in Game Station, I suddenly realised I had enough money to buy myself a PSP, and it was a PSP 3000, which is obviously the model you want at the time. And they had the glorious red PSP in there, and I thought, this seems a good deal. It was a PSP 3000 with, funnily enough, Batman: A Dark Knight movie and Motorstorm Apocalypse, I believe it was on there. Um, and I think I even got
Arctic Edge.
Arctic Edge. Oh, and there was also, I forgot this until I found it the other day. I never mentioned this when I said the story before. There was a case with it as well. You know, a little hard flip case that you popped in, which I've still got. Not a Sony one, just a Game Station one. Anyway, and this was all advertised for £80, brand new, 79.99. And I was like, wow, I've got enough money left over here. I can buy some other games as well from a PS3, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, bought the system. When I got to the till, the lady said, oh, this should have been 179.99. And I was like, oh. But the manager in there had said, no, we've got to honour that because we've advertised it at that price. So we'll honour that, 79.99. But make sure we change that display. So I got I got the system, 79.99, red PSP, the case, Batman, Dark Knight. I got Motorstorm Apocalypse, and there was something else as well in there. I can't remember what it was. It was something else
No, you
added in
got
as well.
Arctic Edge.
Arctic Edge, sorry, you're not Apocalypse, Arctic Edge, that's it, yes. So I got an absolute bargain for it. And then, like I said before, everyone was like, oh, what is that little thing you got? You know, it's quite expensive. What is this little thing? Then started showing them, putting the Dark Knight on, and everyone was like, wow, you can play a movie on a little thing like that. Unbelievable. Yeah, and then, because being up at my in-laws for a week while I was up there, people, either be watching their movies or stuff that I weren't interested in. I just had it on charge in the corner. I'd play a bit more Motorstorm on it. That's it. I got headphones with it, little Sony headphones, popped them
Yes.
in as well, playing away on Motorstorm, and just was blown away by the system. Instantly got this love for a system that I thought and still do think looks very classy, very sort of media driven in your pocket for your
Yeah.
movies and your music and then to be I think I don't know if that was that time I was away, but I remember buying Vice City Stories, putting that in, just thinking this is a PS2 in my pocket. unbelievable that I've got
Feels
that
unbelievable.
small, and the screen looks so good. The resolution, especially on the 3000, was amazing. And I was just blown away by it, and that just started a love for the PSP, really, and such a well supported handheld, with so many titles you can play. You could have that as a main system. If you had that as a main system, you wouldn't be disappointed because you had RPGs, you had racing games, you had games just exclusive for that system as well. Absolutely brilliant, and to get it at that bargain price as well was just,
Unbelievable deal.
yeah. Till And I've always kept it mint until last year when I broke the screen. I was absolutely gutted. I was taking it away. I put it in the side and bag, something lent on it, and just enough to push those, like the
That's why you're not allowed nice things.
yeah. And there isn't a mark on this. There's always been a mark. I need to get a screen replacement for it because I love that system so much. I need someone. If you know anyone that repairs PSPs, please do it because I'm not taking it to bits because I'll butcher it. It's a bit too complicated for me. But yeah, that was my game and bargain, and a great memory of having a awesome little handheld.
Got a couple of
Absolutely brilliant.
asides for you there. I was playing for research purposes last night, Agent Under Fire on the PS2. Got it down from the shelf, opened it up, and I remembered when I acquired this game secondhand. In it was the receipt for Agent Under Fire. But also, folded up in a nice, neat little square, was a concurrent 2002 Game Station carrier bag.
Awesome. I had a similar thing when I bought my Atari Jaguar. I bought it online. The guy had opened it, not played it, and then just still had the cellophane on the box, but opened, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
And he sent it to me in the John Menzies bag that he bought it in. That still had his receipt in from when he bought it from John Menzies.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but I love little things like
So
that.
that bag is technically big enough because I think I've got a PSP 3000 in red, which I believe is the console you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
do
what a
believe I've got a
console.
box for that.
Oh,
So I could pop it in that game station bag with a copy of MotorStorm Arctic Edge, a copy of Dark Knight on PSP
oh.
UMD. Uh, Now that to me is quite the money shot to end the show with.
That is absolutely, definitely. I mean, I'll just do a few honourable mentions. Friends and family have always been brilliant. My mate, you probably know him, Bull Border, over on our Discord. He was always brilliant at presents. He's another one that would, when I first started collecting, I mean, he saw I had an N64, so he thought, right, he needs GoldenEye. Bang, got me that straight away.
Nice.
And he used to find me. He'd do research and find good games, a bit hidden gems on like the PS2. He got me like
Hmm.
Splashdown Rides Gone Wild, and next year he got me Splashdown 2 Ride Gone Wild, the second one, and he'd
Yeah.
get me these little curio games that people hadn't heard of, or get me a steel book for the PS3, and things like that. Real thoughtful. They know what I love, but they have to research it to find it. So yeah, I'm always very appreciative of that when people make the effort with you. Even my mum and dad are the same, and they'll look into retro stuff, or even just from a one year bought me a little Game Boy key ring or Game Boy watch, or those little things that
It's
they know that I
nice.
like. Yeah, brilliant things like that. So that was brilliant. Enjoyed that. Oh, I've got to tell you before we go, we've got one more listener comment.
Well, before we do that, I just want to say thank you to all the listeners that got in contact.
Yes.
It's these stories that really bring alive the games you loved and the
Mm.
stories you forgot. Well, it's a good job that you remembered this time because they've really added some colour to the show, RGT. If they want to interact with the show going forward, how would they do that? How did these listeners interact with the show?
Well, that's over on our other show, Unofficial Control podcast Discord. We have a section in there for flashback. So I sent a little cry of help out there saying, look, we're going to do a Christmas show. Do you guys want to be involved? Give us a Christmas memory and we'll chuck them in, which is what we've done. If you ever want to go onto our Discord, on our Instagram and things like that, you have a link tree. You can jump on the link tree, get the link, jump into the Discord. There's various different sections on there, but it's very friendly. Brilliant people on there, great gamers, and it's a great fun place to be. But yeah, definitely check it out. If there's any other information you'd like or anything you'd like to know about, questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com, give us a contact, and Yeah, we can point in the right direction of discords or questions or being involved. And we've also got a website coming very, very soon. So hopefully we'll be pushing that soon and you can jump on there and there'll be links on there to Discord and shows and we'll get a flashback section on the Unofficial Controller podcast
It's
website as
only
well.
taken us 300 episodes to get a website.
Yeah, well, actually, it's taken me probably 298, and then someone with a bit of intelligence like Captain Scarlet to actually knock it out in about 3 weeks, and done an amazing job. By the
Yeah.
way,
So
it
thank you
is
again to
looking
Captain Scarlet for that.
looking incredible. Yeah. So yeah, anything like that, just come and say hi, come and join us. Thanks for enjoying the show. Thanks for the downloads and the listens and people who are pushing us on their social medias. Keep it going because it's brilliant. Really helps us with the algorithm and bits and pieces and
Yeah,
gets us noticed
Flash
a
Your
bit.
Beast performing great
Yeah.
across all platforms. Very pleased with its. I think it's just the nice words that we're hearing as well. So obviously we're ticking a few nostalgic memories. We're
Mm,
we're rose tinting some spectacles RGT, and we're helping people remember those times of yore. And what I love about Flashback is we you use concurrent news articles that really sort of frame up that when we say stories games you love and stories you've forgotten, we really mean it. This week's been not throwaway, but a heartfelt, nostalgic memory for us. But normally RGT, those sort of articles that you dig up in the time machine from the time, they
mm,
frame up the playground narratives. They kind of remind you of those little mini battles or mini sort of development hell cycles or console launch memories that I have to say, really been enjoying this
mm.
flashback series, and long may it continue.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you very much. Yes, we've been loving doing these. Looking into maybe doing some specials next year. So hopefully, if you're interested in us doing specials, let us know. We've got a few ideas bubbling under the surface, but yeah, we'll hopefully get them going. I'll leave us with our last listener interaction, which is actually from Mrs. RGT,
Mm.
and she said, "Getting my ZX
No
Spectrum."
nepotism here.
No, getting my ZX Spectrum at Christmas and playing Manic Miner and Jet Set Willy. Also typing in the code provided to play Hangman, get one game, then it ended, so it had to be retyped in again, and
Oh
that took an
God.
absolute age. Bless her. But yeah, she had a 48k back in the day of her brother, and yeah, brilliant. Jet Set Willy, Manic Miner, classic games for the Spectrum. Absolutely
Classic
brilliant.
games, even now. You talked earlier about games that have stood the test of time. I know they are older looking games. I know that they are probably a little CFAX graphics to some people now, but what I would say is you could still get fun out of playing those
You
games
could.
even today.
It was a lot of us. That was our entry into the gaming world. That was where it
Yeah.
first kicked us off, And I remember I had my Spectrum. The first game I typed in was I had I had a Shaken Stevens cassette tape, and
Oh,
it had a game printed within the inlay of the cassette tape on the back. Stevens game, and I spent a day typing this on all semicolons and commas, bits and pieces, done it all, and there was an error. So I'd obviously put a colon wrong somewhere and I had to trace it back and I could not find it. Eventually, I tried again at a later date and got the game playing it, and it was absolutely terrible. You just moved a little brick round to the middle of a square and that was it. But to me, I'd made that game. I'd made that game.
no, and I tell you what, that I never actually managed to get one typed in, but I think if I had, and then I'd seen the game working, and I'd actually considered the component things I'd typed to get to that point, that possibly could have started what my parents
Yeah,
had hoped for is in my programming journey.
yeah.
Didn't happen,
I done a few
unfortunately.
from the magazines. I used to type them in from Crash and stuff, and I got some of them didn't work, some did because sometimes they accidentally misprinted them, so they
Mm.
were never going to work. But I got a couple to work, and I always wish I'd have carried that on because you never know, do you? But it's yeah, it was great fun at the time. But yeah, so we'll leave it on that one. Love this show. Sorry it's gone on a bit longer than usual, but it's been brilliant. Christmas special. Love this nostalgia trip. Love these memories. Been great fun. Not only repeating my memories, but hearing George's as well. Some I hadn't heard before, so that's brilliant. Hearing
Cut the
your
singing,
memories.
cut the singing,
Yeah.
or
um,
nail it on at the end. Cut it out and nail it on at the end to play us out. No
Oh,
guts.
yeah,
You could do that.
you overestimate my ability at editing.
You underestimate your power.
Oh, but thanks to everyone as well for your memories and for interacting with us and putting them in. It was great hearing from PS4s to Super Street Fighters to everything. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so I think we'll leave it there. So thanks, George, for joining us on the Christmas special.
My pleasure. Thank you
Big,
to
great
everybody.
fun.
Merry Christmas. Special thanks to everybody that helps us make the show. You are very special. I've named you on the main show, but little nod to you all there.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to every single one of you that listens and supports us in any way. Enjoy yourself. Be kind to yourself. And make some special time for the family. Don't just be a complete gamer weirdo. Be a complete gamer weirdo, but maybe the odd hug.
yeah. Or just do what I do, just scream when they're too loud.
Yeah, that haunts me.
No, seriously, no. Yes, I'll back that up by saying Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you all have a great Christmas. Hope you get loads of gaming goodies and gaming gifts. Have a great time with your family. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your sharing and your downloading. That just leaves me to say, flashback, the games you loved, the stories you forgot. See you next time, George.
See you, listeners.